Oh hey visibility hacker, fancy seeing you there. Today we're talking about how to plan your content for YouTube. First and foremost, YouTube is a search engine, so we have to treat it as such. That means the way that we talk about visibility on the platform is much more of a numbers game, just as much as it's a game about content. It can, however, be really easy to fall off track. So in this video, we're going to learn how to plan and execute a high-impact YouTube content strategy. Hey, I'm Coach Molle from Visibility Hacking Studios, and I'm so excited to share all of this with you guys today. I've been hanging out on YouTube for a while. I've been pumping lots of energy into this channel, and also I have been the brains behind a lot of other channels that you may or may not have heard of in the business space. And today I'm going to help you and your small business boost your visibility online using YouTube. We're going to talk about how to use YouTube as a search engine. We'll also talk about making sure that your message is in alignment on all of your platforms. And at the end of the video, we'll talk about how you can plan and record an entire month's worth of content in as little as a weekend. So for this and more, stay tuned. Talk about search engines. The most popular, most used search engine in the world at this moment in time is Google. Yup. Second most commonly used search engine in the world is also owned by Google. It's their video platform. You may have heard of it before, YouTube. So knowing that YouTube is a search engine, we have to change our strategy a little. We have to think less like epic movies and favorite TV shows kind of launch strategy, and more like becoming a tech therapist. I promise this will make sense in a moment. Instead of trying to promote these epic things that people are going to watch and enjoy for entertainment, we have to be a lot more strategic. So just like a therapist, their best skill is their ability to listen. We have to make sure that we are also listening to our customers and speaking the same language as them. I mean this both literally and figuratively. If we want to work alongside the algorithms that we hear so much about when it comes to social media and YouTube as a search engine and how it gets its content out to the right people, we're going to have to talk about keywords. So keywords have evolved over time, and this is how we tell a search engine like Google what we want to see. So if we want to look for a document about the Wizard of Oz, we're going to type in the Wizard of Oz, and it's going to give us content that has to do with that same search term. And they find that search term within the text and the titles and the descriptions of our content. Same with videos. So what I want you to do is think about 5 or so keywords that describe what it is that you do. For example, fitness coach seems to be the example we roll with quite often here. Maybe you specialize in a certain diet like paleo. That could be a keyword that you use. You could also be someone who works with weight loss using weights. So you can talk about weight training as a keyword, and so on and so forth. You can build out, I would say, 5, maybe 6, maybe 7 different keywords that help describe who you are, what you do, what your target market is, and what the solution is that you serve for your audience. Now, in the historical context of keywords and search engine technology, we moved and evolved as more search results ended up combining on these search platforms and showing up on these search platforms. So again, to refine even more, we had to get more specific. Now this is where niching down is really, really powerful. We can now talk about weight loss for van lifers as a really specific niche. That phrase is going to show up, and if you try to rank for that phrase, if you use that as part of your strategy, then you're going to see your search results ranking higher than people who just want those general keywords like van life and fitness. It's a way to niche down even further in your search results. So your action step is to think about those key phrases. This is more than just 3 to 5. You're gonna come up with as many as you possibly can. Of course, keeping them relevant and related to your solutions, to your businesses, to the type of content that you're creating on your channel. This is where you can come up with great ideas for new videos if you're struggling for content ideas. Now again, let's look at the kind of information we've gathered from years and years of using this kind of search technology. What we see is the way that people use search engines like Google and like YouTube is by asking questions. So think about the kinds of questions that your ideal customer is probably sitting there searching for. Of course, these are way easier to understand if you understand the pain points and the obstacles that your customer is dealing with. This is something you can learn more about in our customer avatar series, which I'll link up above if you haven't already checked that out. Come up with a list of the different questions that your ideal customer is probably asking. And if you need a tool, that's fantastic, one that we use here in Visibility Hacking Studios to grow that list, to gather more of that information, then I highly recommend checking out SEMrush. This isn't a sponsored video, this is not sponsored, there's no affiliate links or anything like that that we're using. It's just a tool that we really got a ton of value in when we were using it, so we want you guys to check it out as well. It helps you understand keywords, understand key phrases, find the right questions that your customers are looking for, and so on and so forth. So check it out. Today's question of the day is, do you use YouTube as part of your visibility strategy? Or is it something that you're looking at building into for your business? Let us know down in the comments. YouTube channels are like Instagram pages. They are curated experiences, meaning viewers want to see content that's within the same genre. They want to be able to predict what they're about to see on the channel. In other words, when it comes to the kinds of content that we need to create as businesses, we want to create content that grows with our customers, regardless of when they drop into our world in their customer journey. Doesn't matter. This is evergreen strategy right here. When you plan out your content, you end up having a roadmap, a structure that you can follow. And I know I pushed back on the idea of planning out my content for so long. And when I finally dove into it, I overplanned. I scripted out every single post for an entire year. And it felt like it took me an entire year. And by a couple months into the process, I wasn't aligning with that messaging anymore. My customers weren't aligning with it, but I had to stick to the plan because otherwise I was a failure, right? Swing to the opposite end of the extreme where I just kind of planned out the general ideas of themes of what I wanted to talk about and I was just gonna wing it every week. That led to overwhelm really quickly. Feeling like I was trying to dig myself out, trying to be creative every single day was absolutely exhausting. I started to resent my business. I started to resent my customers. I started to resent my viewers. And so I quite obviously had to change that strategy quickly. So that's why I want to show you the solution that I came up with that is, I think, absolutely fantastic. On the days that I want a ton more structure, I have that structure to lean on. On the days that I want more flexibility, I have that ability as well. And what I didn't even realize is that it helped me plan in advance so I could actually create better content. It opened up my ability to create collaborative projects with others. It allowed me to find great interviews for certain topics that we had coming up on the plan. I didn't feel like I was drowning. I didn't feel like I was suffocating. I didn't feel like I was being left in the middle of a black hole in the void and no one was watching. It was fantastic because it also helped create connections to my customers. I was creating curated content that they really wanted to come back and see. Another cool thing about having a plan is that you can curate your content across all of your platforms. So everything is in alignment. all of the same type of value. You and your brand are seen in the right light across all of your platforms with way less of a headache than I had just trying to manage one platform. Is so valuable. And boy, oh boy, do I have a tool for you, but you're gonna have to keep watching. I'll share it at the end of the video. We'll talk about our year of content training and how you can plan out an entire year's worth of content in a weekend. And it's so valuable. But before we get to that, make sure that if you are enjoying this video, you hit the thumbs up button, and more importantly, make sure that you subscribe, become an official visibility hacker here on the channel, so you'll get your daily dose of visibility delivered straight to your feed. I am not joking when I say you can plan and record an entire month of YouTube content in a weekend. Seriously, there's 2 strategies I'm gonna share with you. Pro tip number 1 is batch filming. This is made super simple because we have planned out our content in advance. So we can just pick those topics that we're going to sit down and record, and we can just straight get into it. We're not trying to come up with new ideas, come up with the right kind of content, and have each of those batch filming days feel in alignment with the previous one. When you have a plan, it all makes sense. Second tip is editing in a flow. And I do not mean bringing your laptop down to the river. The idea of editing in flow comes from the lean manufacturing process. It's a way of reducing inefficiencies, and inefficiencies in small businesses are quite expensive. Our time is rather valuable. So what I want you to think about is creating a process where you have your batch recorded videos and you build in a chunk of time to edit each of those videos. I do my editing in the morning with my first cup of tea in the morning. 1 video a day, super easy for me. And if that's too much for you, you can very easily hire an editor. You can send them the whole batch, they can edit them as they can, and heck, you can even get them to post them for you to make it even easier on you. Focus on what you're great at. Hire out the rest. But Molly, you promised you were gonna tell us about how I can create an entire year's worth of content plan in like a weekend. Easy. Even less than a weekend. Down below, you're going to find links to join us for our year of content training. You're definitely going to want to join us. This workshop is going to show you exactly what we do and what we do with our customers to help them come up with the rock solid plan that's still flexible enough to give them that freedom to let them move and flow as the trends and as their customer base grows. So check out that training. I want you to be there. And until I see you again, remember I love you, be excellent to each other, and just go live. Your people are waiting for you.